So today I've got a project to work on that's been driving me crazy for the past few weeks. For some odd reason, my garage door does not like to close when it's a sunny day. And I've read a few articles about this, and there's no solid reason why. This particular garage door has been installed for about 9 years with these sensors and has not had an issue. I did vacuum the area recently, and maybe that caused some of the problems, but I did also fix the wires. Before, when you'd move this wire around, that green LED there would blink. So there was obviously a flaky connection here. So I redid the wiring, and I got rid of that flaky green light. They also tell you in the manual to make sure the light's not flickering, and it's not flickering. So it's definitely something to do with the sun. I also cleaned the lens. That didn't help. So today I'm going to try something a little different. I found a tube. This is some sort of a rubberized material. I think the sun is coming in at an angle and it's disturbing this sensor here. So I'm going to try using some hot glue. I'm going to glue this tube to the front of the sensor, so it'll act like a shield. You see a lot of cameras that use some sort of a similar thing, and it'll help get the glare out so that it only looks at the beam of light coming from the other side, and hopefully the sun will not interact with this. And it's long enough that I believe that will prevent the sun from interfering with this. It's also black, which is good, so the light will not penetrate this. And I'm going to see how this goes, because this should be a simple enough solution. And we'll give it a try for the next few days and see if the garage door will close correctly. Alright, so this is what I've done. I used some hot glue. I was very careful about not using a lot because this thing is going to have to seat in this clip. And if you have a lot of glue against this tube, it's not going to seat too well. This tube is almost the same width as this spacing. I couldn't find a smaller tube. So hopefully this will fit okay and not rock around in there when I screw it down. We're going to find out right now if this fits in there and has a good fit. Okay, so the light's green, as you can see, and the tube is not going to stick out past the rim here, so there's no way you're going to really knock that. And today, later on, this is in the morning right now, when it gets sunny out in the front of my garage door, we'll find out if this is going to fix this problem. Okay, so this was a success, adding that vinyl tube to the sensor. And these tubes are actually called vinyl caps. I will put a link on Amazon. They come in a bag like this. There's other selections out there. Maybe you can find a smaller bag. This bag was $10. I did not buy these for the garage door sensor. I had these because I used them on the ends of screws and to make them as a cap so that the screw doesn't scrape against walls and things like that. That's what typically you use these things for. And this is what one looks like, out of the bag. So what you have to do, you have to take a knife and cut the other end off. And the total diameter of this is 3/4 of an inch. Now that could vary based on your sensor, what the sensor size is. But for these Chamberlain sensors that I have, it was a 3/4 inch diameter. So maybe you can find a selection of vinyl tubes that are just the larger sizes, because this bag comes with a bunch of smaller ones also. And unless you have a use for these someplace else, you're buying a lot of tubes that you'll probably never use for anything. Also, I just want to mention, in the video, when I watched the first part of the video back, and I mentioned the LED flickering, that LED, video cameras with LEDs are going to create a flicker because of the frame rate. So when you see the LED flickering in my video, that's not really the case. It's just the way the camera works with frame rates. when you look at the LED as a person with your actual eye, it's not blinking. It's just the camera that's creating that. So anyway, I mean, this is a workable solution. What it's really doing is it's just preventing the sun from coming in at different angles on that sensor and somehow disrupting it so it doesn't work correctly. So by having this tube here, which acts as a like a lens hood on a camera, it's preventing the sun from coming in directly. So the sun is hitting the edge of the tube, and since it's black, it's not reflecting it anywhere. So the light does not actually hit the sensor. Now granted, if the sun came straight in, it would get it, but since the sun is high, it's coming in at an angle, it's hitting an angle on this tube, and that's it, and then it stops. And that's why the length of the tube is important. You don't want something that's too short, because if it's too short, it's going to hit the sensor. But by having some length to it, and let's see, if we measure the length on this tube, it's roughly 1.5 inches long. And that does the trick. That'll keep the sun from interfering with the sensor. All right, I brought up Amazon and typed in flexible end caps, 3/4 inch, and this is what is showing. These here, I believe, are too short. You also have to pay attention to the length. You want about a 3/4 inch. At least this is for the Chamberlain sensors. It could be your sensor might have a smaller sensor, or it could even have a larger sensor, but I have a feeling they're probably all about the same size. But you're going to want something with a little bit of length to it, because it needs to act like a camera lens hood, where it'll block that sun from coming in at an angle. So I noticed these are 3/4 inch, but you're going to still spend about $7 or so for a bag of them. But you can, rummage through Amazon here and look for something. I just recommend you get black, and something that's a 3/4 inch, or about 20 millimeters, somewhere in that range, or 19 millimeters. And but I don't recommend using like cardboard tubes. I think some light's gonna leak in with that. It's not going to be a dark enough color. I think this vinyl is a really good solution.